Yes, still none. Hi everyone, today I'm going to review The Abyss, a film that no one really has reviewed in depth on YouTube yet, which means one thing, I finally get to make an original review that doesn't rip off anybody else and that actually has constructive, fresh things to say. The Abyss is good. It's in fact better than good. It is an outstanding masterpiece and almost as good as Cameron's other early films, The Terminator, Aliens, and Terminator 2: Judgment Day. It's Cameron's fourth best film, below The Terminator, Aliens, and Terminator 2: Judgment Day, but it is almost as good and it's totally in that league and certainly on par with Cameron's Diamond Age. I could say Golden Age, but it wouldn't be manly and cool enough. Yes. 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 Yeah. So it is an outstanding masterpiece and go see it. I guess that doesn't really constitute a review. I know. The Abyss has, like all Cameron's films, many of his common touches, but also has its own distinct original identity. It is an exploration on a thematic level of human capabilities to change and the dangers of war, and it is a love story that parallels this, our need to dominate as well as our willing to sacrifice. Like in The Terminator, but it adds aliens as being helpful and kind, and it has a lot more optimistic and warmer tone than most of Cameron's early science fiction pictures, and it manages to combine optimism well with being mysterious and also claustrophobic. And it also manages to be very original and detailed with very fresh characters, also in comparison to Cameron's other movies and character arcs, as well as very original, fresh plot twists and themes. And it has the suspense of a Cameron science fiction film, and the film is very cerebral, very intellectual, like me, while still being very humorous and action-packed, like me. And it not only covers new ground for Cameron, but it is just a very original film in and of itself, like many other Cameron films. It builds upon old stories by adding new twists and themes, as well as character traits. Many, not all. And I know the obvious questions here, so yes, no, yes, with mild prejudice, and no, first Hillary Clinton. The film, like all Cameron movies, is a technical marvel with incredibly detailed sets as well as props and even costumes. It has the first realistic complex CGI and breathtaking underwater shooting, and like Cameron's other films, it uses this to convey a meaningful story as well as deep themes. And to answer that question I just raised, your mother, for the 5th time. The film really tries to tell a fixed story that is always unpredictable about the dangers of disarming nuclear weapons underwater and adding the conflict of inner betrayal and also a storm approaching. And it with this conveys themes about war, greed and betrayal, and has a well build up and twist that is very underrated, but the great visuals add to make this world believable, and the characters are all deep, and many have complex arcs and backstories. They are all well acted, and the dialogue is well written, as well as the action scenes not only being exciting, complex, and furthering the narrative, but they are very well timed when they are the most exciting. Yeah, I got off on healthy food. It wasn't smart to eat 10 chocolate bars a day, so now I'm just eating 5 plates with macaroni. This is good to eat excessively. This is how you eat healthily. Just eat really a lot of a healthy form of food. My mind is wandering again. Sort of like that character in that one movie that Confused Matthew didn't really like. Oh yeah, Dances with Wolves. Well, this film has received a lot of praise for its story, its characters, its themes, its direction, its pacing, its special visual effects and tone, and also has had some notable detractors for its story, its genre combinations, its characters, its themes, its direction, its acting, its tone, its dialogue, and its special visual effects? Okay. That's gonna take a little bit more to get over. And well, all the praise is deserved, and none of the haters. And in fact, those haters will receive the worst punishment ever. They have to watch Confused Matthew's review of Aliens. Some might not think that that is bad. Well, let me explain. Why this? You see, Matthew never had any passion for the series, but he couldn't objectively sustain that, and he all around threw in a lot of subjective... we're talking about The Abyss here. Well, the film really tries to tell both a complex story, as well as being about romance, and about personal growth, and about humanity as a whole, and it combines all of this perfectly, because they all parallel each other very well, and they all tie together very well. About the film's production, Cameron had established himself co-story writing and co-screenwriting, so fully co-writing and directing, The Terminator, which was a large box office success. It was a real hit. It was a very successful B+ movie, almost an A- movie, making $78 million for $71,200 on a mere $6.4 million budget. And it got great, although flawed critical reviews, and it got audience acclaim, a large fan base, great cultural impact, and a great reputation, but even better, it had allowed James Cameron to go story write, screenwrite, and direct Aliens. And it launched his career as well as furthering that of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it also grew to get even better reviews, as well as more audience acclaim and a larger fan base, and becoming a cultural milestone over time. And it did fantastically in both rentals and video sales, being on top for many, many weeks. And then Aliens was a mega blockbuster, grossing almost double what The Terminator made, of $131,060,248, and it got critical acclaim as well as audience acclaim, and enlarged the fan base of Alien. And it got a great reputation and became another cultural milestone, but even better, it cost The Terminator and Alien and even Blade Runner to get a lot more attention, and so Cameron became a real blockbuster director at this point, and his reputation kept growing, and that is so awesome that it limits how OCDs I have to be about it. What? That was limited. I'm a good reviewer. And the demand for Terminator sequel was really strong, and so Cameron got a lot of artistic control of 20th Century Fox to direct any film he wanted, and got to go with a very cerebral script, as well as getting a conditional final cut privilege as long as the film was at least 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And he also got a large $40 million budget, working with the same studio he had made Aliens for, that now wasn't going to interfere with his artistical decisions nearly as much. The Abyss was solely story written and screenwritten by James Cameron. It was solely written by him as well as directed. It's a very personal film to him, and it's very strongly solely his vision. And Gil Allen Hurd, the producer of The Terminator and primary producer of Aliens, produced this film also. And there's an interesting story actually. She and Cameron separated and divorced during the making of this movie, which is about two main characters who get back together and decide not to divorce. What a story. What, that's funny, like that girl that had about a dozen guys and one of them found out about it and beat her up so badly that she ended up in the hospital on Carrera Street. What a story. Really, it's funny, you should enjoy these minor things in life. They don't come across that much. Oh wait, they do! Like all the stuff in the Iraq war and in Zimbabwe with all the murder. And 9/11! I just completely overstepped my boundaries and I'm now gonna get a whole bunch of hate mail. You guys are real hypocrites hating on rape jokes, which don't affect you at all when you know somebody who was raped, but not complaining about it when I make them when you don't know someone like that, but then complaining about 9/11 because then it's getting personal. No, some dark jokes are okay, but some are not. You really suck. Yes. Yeah. Cameron was a detailed, experienced writer at the point and a detailed actors director who gave actors complex directions and had them stick to the script. And he was detailed with cinematography, puppeteering, analog special visual effects, sets, props and costumes, and editing, special visual effects that were CGI based, and even the music. And he also got George Lucas's brilliant company Industrial Light and Magic to do the special visual effects, and he directed them detailedly and had them through detailed directions. And hard work made detailed innovations in special visual effects technology, having them create a master technology to create detailed three-dimensional forefront CGI and reach new boundaries in the business, as well as making it possible to start using CGI realistically and in the forefront. The scene was prepared to possibly be cut out if it didn't work, but eventually it did. He also had giant water tanks built and detailed underwater shooting done, which was incredibly difficult to do, for which they had special cameras built and special suits and equipment to do very detailed underwater shooting at very deep depths and in very big spaces to make the film incredibly realistic and give it an extra vast look. And the puppets were reworked, and the studio trusted him enough to allow him to have the budget to go up to almost double its size, while it was already really large, to $70 million, and it became one of the highest budgeted films at the time, which would be set up for what we would see in the future in Cameron's other movies, which would be that from this point on, instead of making fantastic looking films and fantastic films in general on a low budget, or on Aliens a medium budget, making them on incredibly high budgets that kept going up and having them pay off every single time. Also, Alan Silvestri, who did the score for every great post-Used Cars Robert Zemeckis film, and also for Predator and Predator 2, did the score for this film. I even have the CD with all of his music on it. Oh my god, did I just actually show a CD on screen? Did I just act like an amateur, lazy critic unboxing reviewer? Which many of my friends are, by the way, who I just lost. Although I really did not mean to offend the lazy cunts. Yet I can at least acknowledge how horrible this is, yet I'm spending a lot of time hating on something that's superfluous. Which, again, I do acknowledge, but that only wastes more time, and I'm taking advantage of these critics, subbing to them, thereby providing them with an example of good reviewing, yet I am using these horrible critics and wasting more time complaining about that. It's quite a paradox, I know. But so the point is, we really should have elected Romney. Also, James Cameron ended up cutting out parts of the ending for which the special visual effects would be tough to do, but still managed to get the most important special visual effects made nonetheless, and due to this, they will be further perfectionized during the making of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And after that, Cameron had gotten even more bankable with the success of The Abyss and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and Lightstorm Entertainment gave him yet another $500,000 and more time to finish this ending, and the film was made completely finished and perfectionized now that the technology had advanced even more during the making of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So the film was brilliantly made, and now to look at the film itself. And by the way, so the film was totally perfectionized with the making of the special edition, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this review of the special edition, as that's the finished final cut DVD version, and I'm also going to review the original Region 1 version with the famous red drowning scene, so that you all know that this is the original and pure version, not a watered down one, even though those are of course fantastic as well. The plot is really thick and multi-layered and logical, and also smart and made very dramatic and meaningful. The film starts off with a submarine underwater of the US Navy thinking they hear a Russian submarine as they are hearing a fast large object moving, which is believable as large objects in dangerous waters could be an enemy submarine very easily. I mean, they were very paranoid during the Cold War, and they are hit by its turbulence, which is believable as they were very close to it. And their technology shuts off, and when they are back, they've already made a course towards the rock, causing the hull to burst, which is smart as they were going very fast, so they could, when the technology went down, crash very quickly. And so the submarine crashes, and the Navy asks a team of underwater oil drillers to search for survivors, as they have little time before a hurricane hits them, and offer 3 times the normal pay for the drillers if they agree, and the leader, Virgin, allows it, as the crew is very eager, but he wants to put their safety before the income of the crew. What an asshole. What? You know I'm a capitalist. Money beats people. So this creates a very double-layered conflict, because they have to go down there to look for survivors and get paid for it well, so they have good motivations. They are oil drillers and want to get rich, so it makes sense they will want to go there for survivors for 3 times the normal pay, and since they're good people, they would also want to search for survivors as well, and that is sensible as they want to help innocent people, so it's believable they would also like to help the innocent military, and so the motivations are realistic for selfish reasons, which adds an extra dimension, but there are also real stakes, the lives of innocent people, and it also creates tension that the Navy SEALs will accompany them, come there and try to completely take over, because the military sees the military priorities as the most important, and thereby they might endanger them, which means they aren't properly informed and they're in the dark of what will happen. And so there's also a great building of tension of the hurricane approaching, meaning they have limited time before they get into dangerous weather underwater, where you of course can very easily drown whenever any technology gets damaged. Now, there's a review on IMDb on the second page of reviews, which calls the film overrated nonsense. And wait, I'm reviewing IMDb reviews now? Man, I'm really getting lazy, challenging myself only by finding these very boring, unsophisticated, plebeian, no wait, even proletarian, asshole, Protestantish, /Coptish, married to Eastern Orthodox cunts. Man, I need to have tolerance therapy. That was a good one. Tolerance therapy. Like, tolerance is necessary. Remember all of those times that we weren't tolerant? How well that worked out? I'm not even gonna mention them, because you wouldn't remember them anyways. Does anybody know the Battle of Newport? No. Because you aren't Dutch people and it isn't relevant to you, but it doesn't change the fact that you're a cunt. Yes.